Uh, Good morning, Mr. Wagner. Today we are getting together to talk about your website and to deal with some questions that have been raised. I don't know if you recall that actually we met a long time ago now, in August of 2007, to discuss the possibility of writing a book, and today is January 30th, 2011. What generally has the experience been for you in terms of trying to write this book?
Well, I certainly do appreciate the fact that you were interested enough in my story to write a book, and I have learned many things through what you've told me on your trip to Europe and elsewhere to find out about my life. You're so factual, Steve. But anyway, I did find out about my mother a little more and my brother through your looking into the situation.
You know, there's been, for the both of us, I think, but obviously much more for you, there's been a lot of emotional bumps along the way. Do you have any regrets in terms of writing this book?
I don't have any regrets at all. As a matter of fact, I'm very happy that you undertook it. You know, it'll be something for my children and my heirs to look back on and see where they came from.
The purpose of the website in part is to hopefully answer questions from friends and family in a more economical way. It's kind of difficult in an individual phone call or just bumping into somebody what's going on. For those of you that don't know you that well, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself? You were born when?
I was born May 17th, 1931 in Karlsruhe, Germany, as far as I know.
And you left Karlsruhe eventually in October of 1940.
That is correct.
And Karlsruhe is located generally, for those people that are not familiar with it.
Located in the southern part of Germany, in a Black Forest area called the Schwarzwald, and it's near an area called Baden-Baden, which is a fancy resort type area.
Okay. I want to express something to you. I don't know that I've ever done that before. That, you know, how thankful I have been to you for allowing me to get involved in this thing. And selfishly, I was able to do a lot of different interesting things. I got to interview Studs Terkel, who was a friend of your adoptive father. I was able to go to France and Germany and interview your German relatives and go to many of the sites that your family had been to. And it was a remarkable experience for me. And throughout that entire process, I came upon many documents, photographs that I believe you never knew about, and through the interviewing of various people, came to learn many facts that I don't believe you knew about. But one of the things that I thought was really remarkable and truly an iconic document was your bar mitzvah speech. And you gave that speech in May of 1944?
That's correct.
And what synagogue was that?
That was at Anshe Emet,
Okay, and that's in Chicago?
which is on the north side of Chicago,
And
near Grace and Broadway.
I'm going to ask you to read that speech one time. I've never had you do that. And to give some context to that, in May of 1944, obviously the United States is in the middle of World War II, and you had, by that date, you're 13 years of age, you had been separated from your brother, you didn't really know him, you never knew your father, you had seen the divorce of your parents in 1934, you had witnessed Kristallnacht, you had been deported with approximately 6,500 Jews out of Germany on October 22nd, 1940, to a concentration camp in southwestern France called Camp de Gurge, where you stayed for approximately 4 months. And while there you witnessed many deaths, unfortunately. And then eventually you went to essentially a safe house in Aspet, France, Maison des Poupelles, and you were there for 16 months. And fortunately, through the efforts of many people, including the Quakers, and specifically Alice Resch, and thankfully to your mother, you were able to get to the United States via Marseille, North Africa, the Bahamas, eventually to New York and Chicago. And I'd like you to read that bar mitzvah speech because I think it's really an important document, especially when you take into account the context of where your life had been at that point in time. So I want to give you that. I don't know if you have your glasses with you, or if you need them.
At that time, I didn't need my glasses.
Okay.
This synagogue is so beautiful. Every Sabbath morning I come to pray here with my classmates, to sing the songs. I did a much better job at my bar.
I'm sure you did.
The Hebrew songs which I love to listen to, Rabbi Goldman explained the reading from the Torah. When Cantor Silverman carries the Torah past me, I reach out to kiss him, for I know what a wonderful book the Torah is, and I love it. The Torah teaches freedom, freedom for everyone. I know that there are countries where people bow before wicked men, and it is good to live in America, where we bow only to God and where all men are created equal. The lands across the sea, how different it is there. A Jew cannot walk proudly to his synagogue. There he must hide. There his life is in danger. And there even a beautiful Sabbath day, the day of joy, can bring him no happiness, for there are ruins and death everywhere. There little children do not laugh and play. They are too frightened. The only music they hear is bombs and guns and curses. The only uniforms that they see are the uniforms of the Nazis. But here we are so far away from all that misery and sorrow. Here we walk through the streets and through the park in the sunlight. We do not hide. Here we can laugh and sing and pray and study. Here children are not torn away from the arms of their parents. Here, children are happy. If it were not for the radio and the newspapers, we would never know the great sorrow in the world, but we do know. And since we know, we should be grateful to God that the whole world is not covered with darkness. And there is still America, the land of freedom for all men. And so, on this morning, my bar mitzvah, I am glad that I am an American and a Jew. It is good to live in a country which says to the world, why can't you learn to live in freedom as we do? Can't you see that all men are children of God? Someday the world will learn that it doesn't matter what color a man's skin is or what language he speaks. Someday the world will learn the lesson of the Torah. There it is, up there on that window. All men are created equal. America has learned it, and someday all countries of the world will learn it too. As a bar mitzvah, I must try to teach that lesson all my life. And may God bless my dear mother and dad for bringing me here to study, to pray, and to enjoy the companionship of the fine Jewish boys and girls. May I make my parents as happy as they have made me. That is my hope, and that is my prayer.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Wagner, for letting me do this.